American tractor. There's nothing more American than a legit American tractor. All right, so this is Nick. Nick, good to see you.
Too.
All the way from Canada. What handshake we doing? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Be bros about it? Okay. So this is your first tractor.
It is, essentially. It's the updated version.
And I question, with my experience in skid steers over the last 5 years, if the tractor isn't the actual right way to go the whole time. All right, well, I was running the machine, just lost drive motors again. Definitely some sort of electronic things. Skid steers are great, they got a place, they're heavy, they're expensive, they break. They don't last very long. Dealerships will get rid of them at 1,500 hours if they're in the rental fleet. Private owners can get 2.5. There's always that one guy that's got a 5,000 hour machine that's still making money. But for the most part, so many little small components and things like that, you don't want any part of this when these guys get some age on them. A small tractor's got a 3,000 hour life expectancy for sure, and you can look at the damn thing and be like, oh, that's where my problem is.
Absolutely.
It's actually the drive shaft off of the transmission.
Right.
Tractor has an implement. And what's appealing about that is it's not a hydraulic hose, so it really can't brake.
Yeah.
Right? Except the sheer pull the cab up on a skid steer, and it's like a mess. It looks like R2-D2, man. Yeah. It's like crazy shit going on. Right. But a tractor is unique in that it costs half of what a skid steer costs, horsepower to horsepower. There's some bullshit with the skid steers, right, where you're just like, the costs are kind of crazy when you run the actual numbers. Very useful, but like the costs are high. Yes. And I run the number on the tractor, and my numbers are like, it's half to a third less expensive than a skid steer. Right. Especially when you buy the implements, which I find to be way more abundant than the skid steer attachment. Like, you can get a soil conditioner, you can get a Harley rake, you can get a tiller, you can get a plow, you could get a deck. You get a third the cost. And with that PTO in the back, you save all of the hydraulic hose and all the type of issues. But what I really like about the tractor,
like a mid PTO, and basically that means you can just run a mid-mount mower deck, a front snow blower, essentially anything on the front.
So theoretically, right, on this series tractor here that we're looking at, you could run a mid-mount mower, have a grader blade on the back, and have a bucket or a grapple up front. And you could ride around to your customers' houses, take like a fallen oak tree, put it in a burn pit, mow the lawn, and grade the dirt driveway on the way out. I get it. I know what you're saying. Best tractor's not even freaking American. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Landscape contractor can start out mowing lawns, move from a zero-turn mower into a compact tractor, like a real small little itty-bitty, but get a compact tractor loader backhoe. So as a landscape guy, like single guy, he's out there by himself, no employees. He builds up to those 40 lawn accounts, those 50 lawn accounts. He's right at that spot where he needs a helper. He's starting to do some landscape jobs. He's starting to do like a little bit of landscape rip out. And instead of getting a helper and paying for an employee, no employee needed, right? So it's like you've got the ability to do absolutely everything that you would be able to do with a small crew, and you can do it all, and you can do it literally by yourself. And by the time that you do hire your first guy to help working with you, you've got a revenue stream from your lawn care, you've got landscape work coming in like the yin yang, and you've got a guy that's coming in to a situation where you already have production capability, and that employee that you're not paying a weekly fee for, they're very expensive, a lot more than a tractor. So I'm here with Rusty Everidge, one of our guys in Indiana. Here's the deal. Here's why I got you on film here. Here's my theory. Okay? I think that zero turns had their day. All right? Because I look at the price of new zero turns, I look at all the hundreds and hundreds of zero turns around here, and I see that they can do one thing, they do it really well, they go zero turn real fast, right? But you can get things like this starting at 2,000 bucks, and this is a chipper chute. So you can do your tree job, take your grapple, put your grapple and all that type of stuff, take your waste, chip it into your dump trailer or truck or whatever, or just chip it right up on the job right there, and you're out. No employee needed, right? Why I'm pitching the compact tractor so hard is I just believe in the biggest midget situation. I think as a landscape contractor, the larger you can be while being the littlest guy, I think is where you're gonna find the most profits and where you're gonna find the most success. I think that if you can push off hiring employees for as long as possible and replace them with a machine, that's the way to go. Typically when a guy would start mowing lawns, and then he would go from mowing lawns to hiring his first buddy, and then he would have like a second buddy, and they'd start doing like landscape stuff on Saturday and landscape stuff on Sunday, and they're starting to do it. I just feel like you could do a lot more production jumping into something like this pretty much after you get going. So you get going with a zero turn or a standing mower, and then your next move after that is a BX or an LA or whatever subcompact tractor your dealership happens to carry. The tractor's going to cost you on a monthly lease or finance agreement. Ideally, you buy it cash, but if you finance it or lease it, you're still 4 times better off than buying or getting an employee. You're still basically leasing that person's time. The segue into lawn and landscape is you start out, you get up to like 50 accounts, you hire a guy, you try to get to 100 accounts, start doing some landscaping, you put your back into getting that bush out, right? And so my theory that as a landscape contractor, it's the better way to go. So you start out mowing lawns, you get into a compact tractor, you can replace or keep your zero turn, but your compact tractor still gives you the ability to still offer normal lawn care. Maybe not as fast as normal, but it lets you do drastically better landscaping jobs, drastically better. And you can always upgrade your tractor. So as you start going from small properties onto bigger properties, onto acreage properties, you can just keep on going up with the tractor. 30 to 50 accounts, instead of getting another zero turn or getting a bigger zero turn, starting out with something like this, which is a BX. All right, so this is a BX series. This is an 18 horsepower model, but in this series, it goes from 18 to 25 horse. So, mid-mount mower, I know it's not gonna be as fast. I get that, right? Four-wheel drive though, the ability to put a backhoe on it, tiller on it, grade blade on it, etc., etc. And obviously moving from like a BX, like 18 horse, you can just keep going into a 35 horse, a 55 horse, etc., etc. The skid steer has a plethora of attachments, but for the most part, they're all the same, and the tractor's got them too. Like bucket, forks, 4-in-1 bucket, like your typical stuff that goes on the front loader, right? But the tractor has got that PTO on the back. So you can carry 2 attachments to a job site. You can have a backhoe. You can have like basically half a mini excavator and half a loader. You got both of them. You got a lawnmower on the damn thing. You can get a chipper for the PTO. So you can take tree waste and literally chip it into your truck and save yourself a tremendous amount of stuff on dump fees, a tremendous amount of travel, just because you have chipping capabilities, and everyone like starts in lawn care, moves in landscape and does tree services like, damn, I can't wait till I get a chipper one day, or justify a chipper. You can get a chipper for like $2.5 grand for a small tractor. So my pitch is I think dudes should consider a subcompact being like a BX. You're now selling recycled mulch. You can just brand it whatever you want to brand it, your own company brand. You're now creating a product, which most lawn and landscape guys never get to, and that's their mistake. You have to private label your own stuff. And if you can start off with charging someone for a tree, literally chipping that stuff, and selling that recycled mulch as like a premium mulch product, you're killing it. You're freaking crushing it. And you're doing it all with a single machine.
What I was thinking of is you got the cost of this, plus you're going to have the cost of the employee to run the other mower.
Right.
So that wouldn't even figure in there.
Right. And I'm pretty against using debt for like trucks, trailers, things like that, but I do believe in financing one thing at a time to grow it. And so if you were to theoretically make a move and you were going to finance something, you can find these used for like 9 to 11 grand, like all the time. So if you can do that, as opposed to buying it new, you save a lot of money.
Right.
But if you had something like this, it was like $300 a month, or $400 a month, and let's just say it was like $400 a month, and you had like a backhoe, you got all the attachments. You're like, yo, give me all the goodies, right? You would be able to move from doing your lawn maintenance job on Friday to doing your landscape job on Saturday, and never have to have an employee. And all with a single machine. Eventually, at some point in time, a business is going to have an employee, but if you cannot have one for as long as possible, why wouldn't you do that, right? It's still America as fuck.